Greetings, I am Live.
And I am Scandal.
And let's find out what day it is!
Yay!
Together!
Honestly, we've had no time line at all. It's good to know that a character finally gives a damn.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the screen exactly after Yawn. Usually we start on the same dialogue, but this one, it had tapped once, but you didn't miss anything if you came from last video. We're right here. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Alright, so what day
is
it? What time is it? I got so drunk. I don't know. After all that drum up, I'm gonna have to pick somebody.
About? You're not in my game. Go back to yours.
And Rye showed up and he just did his giant romantic gesture and I just went in and I just drank all of Grandpa's booze and I just, what time is it?
Either that or I just really stayed up really late and had an existential crisis.
Probably
sounds
more likely.
reasonable.
Much more likely.
What I had was anxiety and depression.
And what I couldn't do was write at all or be myself and who I think I am as my identity at all. And this entire game is about identity loss. And you know what? Dating,
really
guys,
morbid.
isn't really hot during identity loss.
Honestly, like dating in general during identity loss is not like...
So have you ever seen midlife crisis dating? Where it's, you know, like an empty nester or somebody going, this isn't who I identify as, whether it's dad or husband or whatever.
I feel like my mom keeps trying to date me in regards to please fix my emptiness syndrome.
And you just basically have this idea of a bunch of serial, like you see them in their new relationship and you know it's not really a relationship. They're just in an existential crisis going, fix it for me with boning. And it's like, you know, it's just going to make more sad. This is just more sad.
Honestly, I think the one thing is that people underestimate when individuals go through a midlife crisis.
It's true.
I've seen some people go through it because they're going, I have been told and I have latched on to the idea that dating or being with someone is the thing that defines my life, but they literally don't know why or understand what the heck is going on or who they themselves are.
Yeah.
So they're freaking out and you're going, wow, dude, you're like 16 and you're like losing your shit. Like
that is not a midlife crisis.
No, I know it's not a midlife crisis,
okay.
but I'm also like, there's a way of like that it works for me, like just visually and also said like behavioral wise.
People going, I don't know who I am because I haven't hit the certain landmarks that I'm supposed to hit.
Right.
And I've seen that one a lot of going, if you didn't do college at the scheduled time, if you didn't do this thing at the scheduled time, if you are the one friend that's not married yet or doesn't have kids yet. Now some people can have an identity crisis for that, but the midlife identity crisis or midlife crisis is usually a crisis of identity. And it often has to do with basically hitting that space of going, if you've been a parent or if you have been in a career or something, just going, I see that my mortality is looking me in the face to some degree. I've realized I'm not immortal. And I realize that this, who I am, is maybe not who I want to be or who I thought of what I would be when I was young. And going, who am I?
I remember, so when I moved out of my house, there was somebody that I lived with for a period of time, and then I ended up dating them, but not dating them, but dating them, but not dating them, it was really complicated for 9 years of stupid. So basically though, what happened was that, they really, like, so often would look at me and go, oh my god, like, sometimes you just look so much older than me, like, you have the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. And I was like, it's called being depressed.
Yeah, right? It's also called
But it's also, like,
I don't know
what I'm
supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I was like, I really, literally just didn't know what I was doing. I had basically run away from my parents. Like, run away, not, like, actually run away, but basically taken whatever way I could to get away from my life. Because my last few interactions with my parents had been complete garbage, and as they happen to be, they're still kind of trashy, but that's
all right. So Small has hit the depths of the identity crisis.
Going like,
and we don't know
how
what day is it,
to
what time is it. The existentialism is deep, and if you haven't been along on this playthrough, we really have had a lot of like interpreting things as like dissociation, as like deep, you know, like disconnect and overwhelm and depression, and this entire game has continually shown the character to be in a state of continual stress and overwhelm. So this whole game is essentially a crisis of self, and for our main character, basically catalysted by the presence of hot guys.
I love then playing this because the game itself also at the same time seems to be completely unaware of that.
It does.
Like, it's really funny where it's like, there's all these things, but we are completely unaware of this because we're going to keep throwing in these really weird
We're going to write you this way fairly reasonably, like, you seem like you're dissociating right here. You seem like you are overwhelmed, not romantically here.
Right.
You seem like, and you keep asserting that you are super stressed out, and it sounds completely accurate. And then the game going, romance, do it. Yeah. I'm like, this is the weirdest tonal dissonance for me. Like, honestly, in a story, I'm going, did you not think about the two separate main themes you got going on here. Because they're kind of like,
I feel like what's going
contrasting
on
with each other. Of like, you can do both of those things, but it's a dark book.
No, but I know, but what I was gonna say is what you have is somebody going, I've read these books before, this is how this works. And then they're not understanding what the hell that actually is and what they're writing and going, but I'm supposed to be writing a romance, or what I am writing is a romance, and romance contains angst.
So it's like,
But like without the actual angst, which is weird.
I was gonna say, you've got a huge lack of context possibility here. Basically, people writing in the way that people learn language as children or as babies, even going, I don't have context, but I glark from context what these words mean because everyone uses them around me. I read lots and lots of romance books and I glark from context what these tropes, what these themes mean, but if no one explains it to me, I haven't necessarily picked it up all the way.
Well, you'll see it a lot in like people who do character development, right? Have you ever seen anybody who has a half angel, half demon character? They're trying to do the angst thing of I'm torn between two choices, two lives. Two worlds, two lives kind of thing. But most people, and this is not to make fun of it, I've had those characters. Like the reason why I find it to be very personal and very, like a thing of going like, it's really obvious because you can watch it going like, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put in my angst between choosing a cheese sandwich or this sandwich. But like you're doing it in such a way, like you don't know how else to share it other than this in this very extreme way that you go, that makes sense. People will get that.
And again, sometimes you're trying to share something you don't even know what is. This is an element that is here. This is the part of the story where you meet the wise mentor. This is the part of the story where you go on a quest. This is the part of the story where you meet the hot guy. And you just know that because formulaically that's what you've picked up on.
Right, because
and you don't know
shockingly,
why it happened or what it means, but that's where it goes.
A lot of writers are really formulaic.
Yes.
Like genuinely can be incredibly formulaic. And if you actually learn how to spot formulas, you will suddenly go, oh my God, we all write the same fucking thing.
I'll just say again.
And I will say like English writing or like in the United States, like once you basically start going through one dystopian thing and you really break it down, you really can watch the most popular dystopian be distilled down to various elements in all these other books and you just want to die in a corner.
It's true. So I do have this hobby amongst my reading interests of trying to peg new juvenile fiction or teen fiction writers.
Right.
And going, I'll pick up this book based on the title and the cover and then reading the first couple of pages. Is this a brand new author? Or picking up the book and going, how far do I have to get in this book before I go, this is probably your first book? And there's a lot of them where I have like a 90% success rate of based on the formula of their story and how they've approached things going, you are a first-time author. And then you look at the back, this is their first book on the back cover, and you're like, got it. And there's like a whole formula to picking it out that I will probably break down at some point, but not here, because in the meantime, I push myself up in bed, opening my eyes. What's that strange scent? Your house is on fire.
Phoenix.
Your house is on fire. Phoenix, I sneezed. Sorry, I sneezed. Bless me, someone. I have sneezed.
Everyone, you set a house on fire now.
Oh, God. That's when my jaw drops in amazement. Is it flowers?
It has to be Phoenix.
It's fucking flowers, isn't it?
Please tell me it's Phoenix.
Please tell me. What's this in my room? That's
Continue
on. Here we go. What is in my room? All right, we've got it. And the ads are strong with this one.
Yes, excellent. Okay.
I just woke up to a strange sight this morning. My room, I was right.
Yes.
Is filled with flowers.
Are they all like fire flowers?
That would be freaking hilarious. Weird, wonderful flowers I've never seen before. It'd be great if they were dragging around flowers. Can we have some lore?
Please.
Can we have some actual world building? Oh my God, it'd be amazing.
Dear God.
Who could have done this? Anybody who would just, push your boundaries and your personal space and be like, here I am, ta-da!
And I have to say, considering that the three characters are not necessarily very distinct or make themselves necessarily very obvious, and I should say 3 romance character options, oh dear, it could be any of them.
Anyway,
like, truly.
I'm assuming it's Phoenix just because of the round robin thing and we haven't had that last moment of him pushing his agenda.
Right?
And going, no, but I just, blah, 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 blah.
I'm here for you. Hello.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hi.
All right. Who is it? Poof!
Yes!
Through your door. Like, doesn't even do anything, just whoosh in the room. The best thing you'll see all day.
I got it! I heard this line once, does it work?
I love the idea that his dialogue just going off the rails is really a result of him being exposed to human culture and then hearing basically the worst parts of aggressive dating culture and pickup lines and stuff and going, this is it. This is how you romance the humans.
I mean, it could be much worse, I will
like
say.
I said, I like it that way better.
Yes.
Because otherwise it's like his dialogue suddenly changes for no reason and you're going, what happened to your damn character?
Which again,
Why?
that's again where I'm like, I feel, so in regards to like, in terms of tropes, sometimes what I feel like for the wild basically character type in regards to like anime, which is what I think he's supposed to be, is that I feel like it's usually not done very well and it tends to be pretty thoughtless kind of thing. Like you can have somebody I think who's more direct or aggressive or whatever else, but also I like it like honestly where it's like they're also very aware kind of thing, where they're like, yeah, I'm aggressive but I'm also fairly confident and also, you know, I respect your space kind of thing. If you say no, then cool, I got it.
Right? It's fine. Anyway, so, all day. Phoenix pulls blanket up to chin while sleeping naked. Shit! Him, you okay?
Yeah, right.
Us, fine! Throws a pillow at him. Get on! Out! Get out! I said, who is it? Not come in!
He's like, oh!
Alright, is that what he said? I
God, I still don't get doors.
Doors are so weird. We don't even have doors in the Fire Kingdom.
We really don't.
We don't believe in such things.
Doors are a made-up mechanical device to keep us divided.
Basically, doors just suggest that you're deeply insecure, you have something to hide. If you trust people and you're open about yourself, no doors.
No doors!
God, you guys are all so insecure and untrustworthy here. Like, wow, humans are deeply untrustworthy. They're all, like, hiding something. Doors everywhere, I tell you. Everywhere. God, it's so weird. Phoenix! I quickly grab a robe. Okay, we do have a nightdress on. Sheer, invisible nightdress.
Honestly, the one thing about, like, I feel like people do not understand how many individuals sleep, one, in their underwear, or two, sleep naked.
Or sleep in, like, nothing but a t-shirt and panties.
Right?
And your t-shirt may not go down to the length of your panties, or like a camisole kind of thing. You know?
You're just sort of like,
it just, whatever was softest.
Right.
I just slept in that. Or you're disorganized, and you're like Cloud from our Final Fantasy VII, and you sleep full in combat boots and your armor and everything in a real bed. You just lay down fully dressed without even untying your combat boots.
And going,
or taking off your armor, and you're just, good night. And you wake up with, like, you know, your armor molded into the side of your face.
And you're like, and hang on, let me pop this
out
of my cheek.
It's worse than a case of keyboard face ever. Alright, so I quickly grab a robe, throwing it on over my nightdress. I didn't say to come in yet. Thank you. Continuity. Okay, even small continuity is really good. When a character actually points out that what happened isn't what they said, means that the authors are aware of what's going on, especially when it's someone you don't know well. Because regardless of where we are supposed to be romantically with these guys, we still do not know them well. So correcting them on this is what my language means is still appropriate.
Except that, again, so, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It is, this is not intended to be shaming or anything like that. To me, though, this writer is not interested in Phoenix.
No. Like, they seem like they're still trying to make Phoenix offensive, and it seems like the shift in his language when he suddenly just, you know, devoured Small with his eyes in the cafe kind of thing was really a very deliberate shift to make him seem less desirable compared to the other two. That's how I'm reading it. On the other hand...
No, I know some people can really be like, God, direct is just super
It's just really good. I love
But I'm also like, again, the thing that makes this awkward to me of being like, you can choose whoever you want. You're like, you're right. Except what you write for the people who are playing this game with your character does not like Phoenix. So overall, on the average, I do not believe most people will ever pick Phoenix because your character doesn't like Phoenix, which is one of those things, so if you don't realize in terms of writing, you really can inform your world through what your character's priorities are and their reactions are. Even if you yourself might find Phoenix to be absolutely, if you ever actually met him, he would be hilarious and funny, and maybe he's even saying this stuff as like being a huge jokester or whatever it was. You could find him to be great. Like, some extroverted people are fucking hilarious and they're fantastic.
I say, but if you get Small going, I'm uncomfortable, I'm actually correcting you. I keep pulling away. I keep backing off from you. You're getting informed from her that his approach doesn't work for her.
Yes, and then going, oh, I should also say no. You can actually see this behavior really commonly in, like, documentaries or the way where people will go, I'm going to tell you a biography or I'm going to tell you an autobiography. They tend to write the story from a certain perspective. That's actually one of the biggest notorious problems in terms of, like, people who write history books that people have pointed out of going, like, you basically have a culture bias or you have a bias about yourself and what you think is important.
You're also telling a story that you can relate to because people are trying to write it as contiguous sensical events.
Right.
So they have to pick a timeline that goes together. And basically to
Goes
break
together.
this down the best I can is going,
Yes.
you have 100 days that happen in a row. 24 hours worth of events on all of the world happen during those days.
Right.
And so every single person has a full character experience of every hour of that day, and you have to choose one linear line to follow of what happened.
Right.
And going, that's impossible. So what you choose cannot ever be impartial unless you pick a singular person to follow and then describe their experiences.
And even
then it will still be
yeah.
the priorities of their experiences. Where I talked about in before, if you don't focus on certain things in a story, then they're not important. You could have characters in this story that have either disabilities or learning differences, or have ethnic backgrounds that aren't mentioned, or have family complications, or even again, like people have to go to the bathroom, etc. like that. But since it's not in here, it's considered not to be important to the narrative.
Right.
It doesn't mean those things don't exist.
Right.
In the same way that a lot of people have like trans headcanons and things like that going, the thing is those characters absolutely could be. They even could be in the author's mind. But since it wasn't the focus of the story, it's not on screen because that's not how we do storytelling convention.
Right.
Because if you mention it in the story, it's supposed to be important to the story.
Right.
Never have a gun on stage unless it's going to go off.
Right, which also though in some ways some people have actually said is a limiter of story, of going like, you only have to have things on screen that are important to the story, which we've caused ourselves in terms of how we write. And I'm talking about we overall in terms of how the literary community has chosen to write. There's nothing wrong, I think, with honestly bringing out cute little character details. It can be one of those things of like where a lot of people have been amazed about Studio Ghibli and with Hayao Miyazaki, where they're like, you have these quiet moments that literally goddamn do nothing.
She just
They're
put
just
on
there.
her shoes.
She just is this thing of going, this is how this thing's work and this is how this over here does. You just eat food.
I'm
Why?
showing the cooking process when it has nothing to do with the story. It's just what's happening right now. And those kinds of things are really important to balance into your story and sort of think about the audience you're writing for. But at any rate, so yeah, we've been informed that Small isn't into Phoenix.
Yes.
Except for that she's now suddenly conflicted about it via, the most recent chapters.
Right.
All right. I didn't say to come in yet. Oh, I'm sorry. But your voice was so inviting, I couldn't help myself. When I said, who is it? I went, who is it? Oh, yes, I feel it in my soul. I'll be coming in the door because you called to me. It calls me.
So so that could also be another thing too, that the author is actually trying to inform you, or the writer, or Phoenix is trying to inform you that I just find your voice to be very cute, very attractive, very much. So there's sometimes some things where I've seen with some guys, and I've heard some individuals who identify as women, or even when they don't, where they go, God, everybody's just like, God, you just sound so adorable, and I just can never take you seriously, or whatever you say.
I just love to listen to you
I
no
just
matter what
love
it
to
is.
listen to you, and you're like, God, I feel so fucking basically not seen as a person because all you care about is what I sound like. You don't actually care about what I'm saying or the fact that I sound angry.
So I get something different from this. Like that is a thing and is valid. But what I read from this is the trope of going, but basically your voice is so sexy it implies consent.
Yes.
That is what I get from it, of going, but you were so desirable, I just couldn't help myself.
See, and I also though wanted to I'm like sometimes I really I want to have this though as a thing where it's just like, your voice sounded so inviting, you'd be like, who is it? Kind of thing.
And you go,
but to me, that's why I said that.
I was going to say, you can also get that one of going, it felt welcome. When you go, who is it? And you're just like, it feels like inviting a friend in, like going, hey, who's there? And you're like, I just walked in. And then you pause and realize, you didn't say come in. Kind of like, oops.
Because you were expecting.
I've done that a couple of times too. Either you weren't necessarily expecting a response, but the way it sounds suggests, what it is.
Oh, it's one of those things where basically you garden path yourself because you're so used to somebody,
because
or like you're so eager
of the voice, like tonally combined with, the presentation of it.
Right.
You just go, oh, come in. And then you're like, shoot, you didn't actually say come in.
And it could actually be something of being like, but your voice was so inviting, I couldn't help myself. Sorry. Like I was expecting.
I just wanted to join you.
Right, because I wanted to see your face. Like this is the thing they're doing. So you could actually write this or basically perceive this potentially in a couple of different ways. But again, I think the writer still, whoever wrote this, does not like Phoenix.
And again, the context for each of his statements is built from previous context context within their own story.
Right.
So it's not that this line in and of itself specifically has any gravity or weight other than whatever you as an individual would normally, interpret it as. But again, it's all building. So if you are an author writing, or if you are somebody reading these stories and going, I'm not sure how to take this, or this feels like this in one case but it doesn't in another, it's going to be from the context of the rest of that story.
Right. Oh gosh,
But
it's like everything else builds a character.
All right. Anyway,
Yes, very much. Well, thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon. It would be very much appreciated.
Woo!
We love doing stories. We love doing them with you. And I have been Scandal.
Additionally, we've gotten a fan art a few times, and it's been super, super fun. I just wanted to do a shout out, even though this is a tiny little series that doesn't get a lot of views. We do love getting fan art. It is super fun, especially when it's our weird headcanons and ideas in the stories.
Right.
We do share it on our Tumblr, so if you do want to go check out our Tumblr and see what other people have contributed, as well as we share our videos there and say more clever, fun stuff underneath them.
Right.
If you don't read the descriptions, sometimes you may be missing
Also,
out,
feel
my friend.
free that if you ever do fan art and you have a Tumblr, or if you don't, feel free actually to go check out Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah.
We've got those there. We would be more than happy to either link to you or point it out.
Yeah.
We love it. It's been super fun. Really, today we did actually get some new fan art, and we've been quoted it's so cool.
Anyway,
so, yes.
I'll say, but in that reference, even if you just want to self-promote and get visibility as an artist, if you would like to do something, we will absolutely point people in your direction.
Absolutely.
All right?
Yes.
And in the meantime, I have been Liz. And it was great playing with you. Bye!